Now, believe it or not, PC Karl Warren, for the Norfolk Police Constable who couldn't remember crashing into a member of the public's vehicle before driving off due to something called Transient global amnesia, has been cleared of misconduct. As we mentioned in yesterday's report, Warren was driving along the A146 near Lowestoft in Suffolk when he collided with an Audi car that was in front. Warren then proceeded to drive off, even though his colleague in the police BMW X5 with him asked him if he was going to stop. Now, PC Ryan Hargrave, who was that passenger, received a written warning last year for failing to report the collision, but Warren, the driver, has now been completely cleared. The misconduct hearing was initiated after criminal proceedings were dropped at the request of the IOPC. Defending Warren, Colin Banham told the panel, "The officer has been through hell. He's been through diagnosis. He's no longer carrying firearms and he's no longer driving. His life has been hugely affected. The publicity, the reality of the situation." Norfolk Police and PC Warren's defence accepted that his failure to stop and report the crash would usually trigger misconduct proceedings, but they agreed that the case hinged on whether or not PC Warren was aware of the incident and whether he could recall it. Now, I've looked into transient global amnesia and it doesn't appear to be something fully recognised in British medicine. The NHS, for example, doesn't mention transient global amnesia when searching for it, but simply refers to amnesia without mentioning words transient and global. The NHS state that memory loss can just be a natural part of getting older, and sometimes it may be caused by something common and treatable like stress, anxiety or depression, and sleeping problems like insomnia, although it can be caused by something more serious such as dementia. Overseas medical circles, however, do mention transient global amnesia. The Mayo Clinic, for example, says that transient global amnesia is an episode of confusion that comes on suddenly in a person who is otherwise alert. During an episode of transient global amnesia, a person is unable to create new memory, so the memory of recent events disappear. You can't remember where you are or how you got there. You may not remember anything about what's happening right now. You may keep repeating the same questions because you don't remember the answers you've just been given. You may also draw a blank when asked to remember things that happened a day, a month, or even a year ago. The condition most often affects people in middle or older age. With transient global amnesia, you do remember who you are and you recognise the people you know well. Episodes of transient global amnesia always gets better slowly after a few hours. During recovery, you may begin to remember events and circumstances. Transient global amnesia isn't serious, but can be frightening. Other symptoms are that episodes last no more than 24 hours and are in most cases much shorter than this, with a gradual return of memory. Another common sign of transient global amnesia, due to the inability to create new memories, includes repetitive questioning, usually of the same questions. For example, what am I doing here? Or how did we get here? So this information would indicate that Warren is not fit to be a police constable in any capacity. How dangerous would it be if he attended an incident and had one of these so-called attacks, not knowing why he's just turned up to a burglary or for a knife-wielding twat? I would also have to question all of his previous arrests, as he could have forgotten something that would have led to somebody either being convicted or freed. I personally could not simply allow this man to go back to work as a police constable. There are far too many questions to allow that to happen without going through his entire policing history. But that won't happen. Just as if one of us plebs tried the same excuse, you can be sure that we would not have criminal charges dropped for forgetting a crash and driving off. But what is interesting to know is that there is no way to determine if you have had a TGA attack. No. What they do instead is rule out other possibilities, the same as myalgic encephalomyelitis. That's not how you pronounce it, but it's otherwise known as ME and CFS. There's no test that can be done to determine if you have it, other than testing for everything else and ruling them out. And with TGA, there's nothing that's noted that actually triggers it, although in rare cases there could be something that contributes to the onset, but these are said to be very rare. That means if you have a collision and you seem anxious and agitated, you repeatedly ask questions about what's happened, but you can remember who you are and are still able to complete routine, complex tasks, you too can get away with dangerous driving, careless driving, and leaving the scene of an accident. Not that I'm encouraging people to do that, of course. But if it can't be diagnosed without ruling out other causes, and if you manage to remember to conveniently forget the serious parts of the incident, or the bits you get, or the bits that get you into trouble, then a doctor can't rule it out, and therefore it could not be beyond reasonable doubt. I do hope that Warren is still removed somehow from the force, as I think his affliction could be very damaging and dangerous for the people of Norfolk. If you found this report informative, please give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and share our video for more updates, and we'll see you in the next.